Okay, hey guys. So here is the guest that we have for today. I'll leave him to do all the introduction, but I know some of you might already know him because. Anyway, I'll leave him to introduce himself to the channel.
Hi Betty, hi everyone. My name is Kelvin Osai. I'm a staff nurse, I'm a music artist. I'm quite different things at different times. So I'm also an IELTS coach. Then a lot of things I do online on Twitter. I'm the male nurse. I tweet more of public health issues, so more of a public health advocate. And then on Instagram, I remain Kelvin Osai. It's more of a page where I dish out informations and then just do my personal things there. So nothing dramatic about me, just keeping it real and keeping it simple.
Nah, so okay, let's dive into the chat and we just want to get to know you more, like share in your experience. I mean, being a nurse in the UK and coming from Nigeria. So what has it been like being a nurse, a male nurse generally?
First of all, I would say here there's really no gender difference between your. There's no gender difference in the profession. What I mean is that the patients do not see male or female nurse because the culture in itself incorporates both genders well seamlessly into the profession. Although we still have the disparity between male and females here, which is normal. So being a male nurse in the UK or being a Nigerian nurse who migrated to the UK, I think there's a huge disparity between the two practice. For example, I could say here in the UK, we have A&Es that have constant inflow of, because I work in the emergency department, so we have constant inflow of ambulances coming in, and the ambulances or the ambulance paramedics know exactly, they hand over almost, I would say they will tell you exactly what's wrong with the patient, and you just know your job. But one of the things I experienced when I came in, which was a shocker to me, was that the fact that I know how to do IV medications, know how to give injections and set lines and all those things, but I wasn't allowed to because they said they wanted to do competency tests, competent. They want you to do some competencies. You go for a training and then you do like 10 or 20 of those things before you are signed off to be able to do them, no matter the amount of years of experience you have back home, wherever you're coming from. So these and some other things were like the shocker for me. But when I sat back, I realized, I said, okay, these people want to set a standard. So no matter the experience you have, they want to be sure that your standard and their standard meet at some point, and then you carry on with your practice. So when you're practicing, you can use your own nursing initiative to do certain things yourself, which is still going to be within the standard. But then before you are able to do that for a first time, you need to be supervised, you need to do competencies and all those things. So there's really so much difference. One other difference I also noticed was the fact that the 12-hour shifts or more, let me speak pidgin, they break back. If they break back, they pay leg. If you're a registered nurse in the UK or you just come to the UK, your best friend should be a comfortable shoe. A very nice, see those Adidas you bought in Nigeria, in that or those Puma or those Nike you bought in Nigeria. I'm not sure see you go use them for it. Because the thing is, you have to stand. So even when the work is not so busy, you have to like, there's always something for you to do. Is either you go and check the IV fluids that are the stock, or you have to check the records, you have to check something, you have to check the drug cupboard, you have to check the emergency drug kit, or you have to check the crash trolley. There's something you have to be doing at every point in time. The only way you have to like sit and do something is if you sit down to document, you understand? So those are like some of the differences I noticed. I could also say I've worked in some private hospitals back home in Nigeria, and then during night shift, let's assume I bet day night shift like this. At night, I'm putting pidgin because I know you have audience back home in Nigeria and a lot of places, so I'm trying to put pidgin. So at night, if we're working and the place is not busy, I feel just go buy suya. Me and you will just chop suya. Then I'll say, okay, make I go rest. from like 11, I'll go sleep. You will just they put eye for the place. And then maybe by 2, when I come back, you go and take your own break, and that's it. It's like very understandable. But here you would be there till the time of your break, and you go for your break when it's time for your break. There's really no, you don't beat the system. That's what I'm trying to say. So, but regardless of it, it's not a bad place. It's a nice place to work in. Everything you need to work is there. But one of the things I've noticed is that in every A&E or in every hospital, bladder scan, they always scarce. All right, that's it for me.
Can you enlighten us? I mean, for those of us that are not working in the NHS, I don't know. Some people might not even know what bladder scan is. So can you like enlighten us?
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
I've worked in emergency department here in the UK. Do you know that most trusts bladder scan is usually one in the whole hospital, like one or
Really?
two. What I'm like in the whole emergency department, let me put it down because that's where I really work. And then you start looking for it when you need it, And so it's just like it's one of the things that is really very simple, but is very scarce. I don't know whether for some reasons it's always you can't find it when you need it and all that. So, but it's not like they don't have it, but I think it's one of the trickiest things I've seen that gets missing easily, and you find it when you don't need it.
I see. Okay, so where can you tell us where you stay in the UK, and like what is the cost of living? What would you say the cost of living is like? Is it on the high side or average or low?
It's not really on the very high side. It's at least it's not costlier than London and Oxford and Cambridge. Um, I stay in Eastbourne in East Sussex, so it's just some hours away from London. And usually, the closer you are to London, the costlier the cost of living. So for anybody in Brighton, uh, uh, London, Oxford has one of the best, trust and best universities in the world. So Oxford and some other places, it's costlier because anywhere you have these posh people, this kind of life. If you're staying there, it's costly. Like in some places in this UK, you can have a shared flat for 400, 300, 350. But in this side, you cannot get it for less than 500 or for something. And a one-bedroom flat will be costing you about 700 or 7 something a month. Then in London, you could have it, a one-bedroom flat is going to cost you above 1,000. Like, so it's costlier. But then up north, Midlands, East Midlands, and all those areas, you have like Manchester, not really Manchester, the city, but the communities around the towns around Manchester. You could have a one-bedroom flat for like 500 and something pounds a month. And this is something that used to rent a shared flat down this area. So it's people are living here. So the important thing I tell people first, if you are not sure of the cost of living of the place, Jackpot first.
Yeah.
That's the important thing. So when you come, when you settle down after a couple of maybe years, 1 or 2 years or 3 years, then you look for a place that you know that you would be able to stay, build a family, buy your house or something, so that's it.
Okay. And okay, right. I know that you're married. I mean, what is it like balancing work life and family life? Would you say that it's quite easy considering that, okay, let's say I think your wife is a nurse, yeah?
No.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so what is it like balancing it and with kids? Yeah, how easy is it?
Well, thanks for the question. I think balancing work life and family life and also your personal career development is something that every person needs to understand. You need to know what comes first and what comes next. Now, what comes first is family and work. For someone who's come to the UK, what comes first? If you're able to balance it, it's some people say, "Oh, now the work bring me come," that kind of thing, and you need to. And some people say, "Oh, it's the family first." Family will always be there for you, even when the work is gone. That is one thing you should understand. So if you're married or if you're single, or if you're dating someone, you need to be able to prioritize your relationship, your family, and then you need to be able to prioritize work. Now, I tell people, if you fall sick today or if you just die now, God forbid, but if something happens to your health now, in less than 1 day or thereabout, they would find someone to replace you. Sometimes there may not be a vacuum you've left. If you've left a vacuum, they'll look for someone who is very skilled, someone who is very proficient, even better than you, because you're not the best nurse in the world. You're not the best. You're not, yeah, you're good. You're an expert. You know your job. But I'm sure, like, I can't say I'm the best emergency. I'm not even an emergency nurse, but I've been working in emergency department. So I cannot say I'm the best emergency nurse in the world. You get, there are some things I do not know. A lot of persons know more than me. So if anything happens to me today, my employer is going to look for someone else, with a very good CV, very good personal statement, who can fill the position and more. And so it's just that. But if something happens to you now, like I said, you do not really leave a vacuum in your workplace, but you leave a vacuum in the lives of those around you. So you need to be able to put your family first. You need to be able to prioritize your family. You need to be able to come home. You need to be able to spend time with family. You need to be able to put them first. You need to be able to sacrifice for them. Then aside for this as well, you need to be able to understand that your personal growth matters. If you're the kind of person like me who always try to help people as much as I can, you need to understand that you need to constantly advance in your career, because it is when you advance, you will be able to tell people the story of your little achievements. You get, like, if you move from maybe Nigeria to the UK, you should be able to tell those in Nigeria, oh, this is how I did it, this is how I achieved it. Now, if you all have now arrived in the UK, you should be able to advance a step further. Oh, I've done this specialty course, or I've done this. This is how I did it. This is what I think you should do. So there is really no. It has to be mixing at some point in time. Like, sometimes, sometimes you have to be at home and then have a call from someone saying, teach me this, how do I do this? So there's quite a lot to do, but then you need to balance it. Then for my music as well, I take out time to do things I have to do to publicize my music. Sometimes I just stay at home, carry the guitar, write a song, record it in my phone, and sometimes I speak to the producer on phone, say, see the idea. So it's the life. If you understand that these things have to be part of your life, and then you have to carry them, side by side. Don't leave work and say it's family, and then they call you at work, you not come go work. You say, I'm prioritizing my family. So you understand? So you have to put it to your family that, see, this is work, this is what brings me to the table, this is what makes me to be sane. Because some of us, if we not go work, it will be like, say, there are some of us, work is stressful. Have 4 days off, you see that you're feeling as if you're not doing any, like, you start feeling this emptiness, like you're not doing anything, or you start feeling as if you're sick. But then when you are home after some, or when you are now at work, you start feeling, oh, you're missing your family. So you should be able to balance these things. Talk to your family. This is work. I'm going to be at work. Like I always tell my wife, I said, if I am at work, if it's not an emergency, do not call me. But we can always chat. We can always talk if I'm free. And then during break, I always make out time to call you. And that is an understanding. It always works. So it's not that kind of relationship where I just enter work. You don't begin to call me, hey, I'm missing you now. So it kind of puts you off. There are some calls. So if I see my wife's call when I'm at work, I know that it's something that really needs my attention. Do you get? So there is that understanding. So you also make out time to say, okay, my break, I use it to call home, and then I use it to do some personal things like call anything you have pending. So it's just that understanding that really works. I think, let me just tell this story. When my wife was pregnant on the 9th of May 2021, she went into labor. She sent me a message that she thinks the water has, no, she's having some pains. And I said, oh, do you think the labor has started? She said, no. I said, okay, no problem. I said, call this person. This person is off duty. This person, because we have a few friends who stay around us. Call this person. This person is off duty. And I told my matron, I told my matron that, oh, my wife said she's having pains, but she said nothing is serious. But unfortunately, or fortunately enough, that same day, I had the kind of trauma that I've never had before at work. Someone that came, blood all over their body, and pieces of bottle everywhere. Like, like they had a fight and some splash in the person's eye, and they brought the person to my part of A and E, because A and E is very good different parts. We have majors, minors, we have resource and all that. And because of that, I had to gown up, glove up, do all those things. I was above level 2 PPE, so I was putting on everything, both screen and everything. And I dropped my phone. Before you know, I saw a message. When I finished attending the lesson, after like 45 minutes, I saw a message. My wife said, so she called me immediately. And like I said, she's not supposed to call. So she called, that I told you I'm in labor, this one now. But I said, but I asked you, you said nothing is wrong. I said someone is there with you. Do you get? Do you know that I had to run? I had to leave. I told my matron that it's like she's already in labor. I left work immediately with my bicycle, because I ride a bicycle. I left with my bicycle somewhere that takes me 15 minutes to ride to work. I got home in 9 minutes.
God.
Do you get?
Yeah.
So I was able to, because of that understanding, I know that if it's not emergency, she will not call me. For her to call me is an emergency. So there's that understanding. So you really need to have someone that understands that when you're at work, you're at work. If it is calm and you're able to call them, fine. If you're not able to call them, they understand. So you balance your work, and then you also work in a place where they understand that if you have an emergency, if they also understand that family is priority, because family is important for your well-being. So if you're having a family issue, you lose someone, your partner is sick, or your child is unwell, you will not be able to focus at work. So these things have to blend. Your career have to also blend, because you have to keep increasing your skill set. You have to keep increasing your achievement, so that you'll be able to either increase your financial capacity, because you have to increase your skill set to be able to have more marketable value and increase your income as well, which will also reflect on your family as well. So there's just a lot we can say in this thing, but I think we have to leave it here.
Over. Okay, quick question. Well, I would really like to know your opinion on, people that are married back in Nigeria, or they have spouses or partner, let me put it, and they are asking, okay, should I come to the UK with my spouse before I take my OSCE, or should it be after my OSCE? I know this is a personal decision, but I really just want to know your opinion about it.
Yeah, it's a personal decision, but if I see anybody coming with their spouse, I will go to the airport and use cane and flog them and their spouse. The reason is I've seen cases where when I came to the UK, I came alone and I stayed 3 months before started. I brought my spouse. Now, my advice, I've also seen people that came with their spouse and children, and they suffered. When I mean suffered, first of all, we know even as a single person or as a married person, to get a house in the UK first is difficult. Now, this is the reason why you shouldn't. I could highlight maybe 2 or 3 reasons why you shouldn't come to the UK with your spouse. One, you should understand that you're coming here to prepare for an exam and get a PIN. So, especially if you're a lady, you should. For a man, I'm not sure. This is not about gender. Please, feminists don't come for me. But if you're a lady, which most nurses are, don't come with your family. Not when you've got different trusts have different ways of doing their pre-OSCE and OSCE preparation. Some would put you in a boot camp and they'll prepare people for like 2 weeks, 1 week physical class, 1 week practical classes, and then the third week or the last week, maybe in 4 weeks, you go for your exam and you pass. But for some, you'll be working and be going for practice OSCE classes once a week. Now, for this, you may also need to have classes with your revision classes with your friends or colleagues. So if I go for OSCE class from 8 to 4, and then I come back, rest, do some few things, and then because we are new in the UK, we'll go to towns, Poundland, and all these places to buy things together. Some people will pay bus ticket together or taxi together, so they will buy, come back together, and then prepare, and then rush back to each other's room to practice. Now, if you're married, your husband will be looking for who will cook food. For some people, some men, for some reasons, don't like touching kitchen. who will cook food for. I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying anything. But who will cook food or who would do take care of child, and then you come back in the night, you'll still tap you, auntie, alpha, and anything for the boys. So all these things, you need to know that your pin, because every stage in life, I always know what the priority is. Your priority first is your pin.
Yeah.
So whatever you should do not overwhelm yourself with activities that will deter you from practicing or preparing for your PIN. So as much as I can tell you now, come alone, prepare for your OSCE. When you are approaching the exam period for your OSCE, you can start applying for visa for them. Because then you have, or you can even wait, finish your OSCE, then start looking for a house, applying for visa for them. When they are already coming in, the house is ready, they come into a house. Not when, because most trusts will put you in a shared flat.
Yeah.
Some will put you in an Airbnb, or there's how the different accommodation systems that will not permit you to come with family. So if you come, another thing there is that if you come with family, you may lose these benefits, because some will give you 3 months free accommodation in the hospital accommodation, which is a shared flat with 3 other persons who are singles as well. Not like single in marital status, but have to stay alone. So if you come with your family, you lose this benefit because you have to move out and stay with your family. If not, some people will report you, and you be in problem with the trust. You breach some contracts because there are terms of agreement. And then the other one is, I've talked about, the next one is that if you have to come with your family, that means you have to carry naira, that where you suffer work for Nigeria, use and rent house for UK, job where you never show off.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand? And everyone in the UK is quite busy. So who will be the one to look for the house for you? Do you get? So it's maybe Betty. Oh, Betty, how far? There's a house, they say we should come and check. Betty is doing night duty. Betty will go and look at the house. They say it's 10 a.m. Betty comes back from her duty by 7:30 or by 8, and she dozes off and she wakes up, and it will be stressful because sometimes this house is very difficult. Even for someone who is in the UK, it's quite difficult to look for a house. So talk more of someone who is converting that. You want to sell land, or you want to sell your house. So you just have to use the money you make here to do the expenses of this place, and so that you don't also stress people and make people look like they are bad people. Because, for example, if I'm staying in a 1-bedroom flat, I may be able to house somebody. Then what if I just give birth? What if my family, someone is staying with me? What if, there are some things that you shouldn't put, so that you don't start thinking the people around you are not trying to help you. The UK system is quite different. If it's a 1-bedroom flat, they don't expect, and they would even say sometimes the agreement you have in some of the houses will not allow you to have people stay that much, or so. And then also the next one is that you may not even have people in that location. Let's say you get a job in Sheffield or in Leeds. Yes, we have Nigerians there, but do you know anybody? It's not about having Nigerians there. Do you know anybody who will help you, who will accommodate your family, who will support you with childcare? So for people who are married and have children, you want to come with your spouse and the children, who will help you with childcare? Do you get? So these are things that we should look at. And then don't forget, you are going to work, you're preparing for OSCE, your spouse never gets work. They prepare for any OSCE. You are stressed out, and then at night someone is going to tap you. And I'm telling you. So do you understand? So there's a lot of things you need to consider. It's not I know people back home, because these days people don't understand what love is or what understanding is. Some people will say, if my wife travel now, she will leave me. Or some people don't have this confidence that, we have heard stories of people who travel and just abandon their spouses and all that. If you don't trust your spouse, fine, do whatever you want. But for me, I am of the opinion, I hope I have been able to convince you and not confuse you, that coming alone is going to be better for your mental health, and also help you to prepare for your OSCE better and easier. Thank you.
So regarding career advancements in the NHS,
Okay.
have you got any tip, or how easy is it to progress career-wise in the NHS?
I think it's easy depending on where you find yourself. There are different options. We have pain management nurses, we have diabetic nurses, we have different specialties. So it is quite easy to advance. Not really easy, but if you go for it here and you don't get it, you should go for it there. You may get it. If you go for it here and there, you don't get it, go for it somewhere else.
Mm.
So let me put it this way. Go for it here where you work, don't get it, fine. Go for it there. If you go for it there, you don't get it, go for it somewhere. If you go for it somewhere, you don't get it, go for it somewhere else.
Mm.
It's quite, they need nurses in the UK. Nurses are needed. And one thing is, sometimes there are some opportunities that will come to advance your career and you don't have the requirements, fine. Apply and see what they say. Some trusts are willing to train you into that role.
Mm.
Some trusts are not willing to train you. Some trusts want a ready-made person. That's fine. But one thing is, go for any role you think is good for you. We have had people who have worked in a particular position for 5 years, 10 years, and they are not ready to move. They're not ready to advance. We are coming from a background where when we move, the higher we are able to go, the higher we are probably going to earn, and the easier it is for us to be able to support our families back home. Do you get? So when you come here, don't compare yourself to those around here, because the government is really helping. There's benefits. There are a lot of benefits they can get, there are a lot of things supporting them. And I'm not sure they are sharing their 1,005 or 1,800 NHS salary as a band. So I'm not sure they are sharing it to people back home. But some of us, we are sharing it to people back home. Do you get? And by the time you pay bills, pay this, it's finished. So you need to go for something higher. So it is not easy, but at the same time, it is easy. Now, how do you advance your career? First, be open to information, and then be ready when the opportunity comes. Discuss with people, what do you want? Look at the different options. Do you want to work in A&E? Do you want to work in the ward? Do you want to work in ICU or ITU? What areas do you want? Or do you want to be a specialist nurse in different, like pain management, diabetes, community nurse, stroke nurse, and all those things? What do you want? Start gathering the information. What would it take for them to employ you as a stroke nurse? What are the things you need? Do you need courses, modules to do? Do you need a level 6 course? Do you need level 7 courses to do? You start preparing yourself for these things. Your ward, wherever you are, be open to ask what support do they have? Do they train people? Do they sponsor you for career advancement? Like if you say you want to do a pain management course, would they sponsor you? If you say you want to go get a master's, apply, would they sponsor you? I know people that are being sponsored by their trust in masters. I know people that are being sponsored in some courses. So you start doing any training that comes out in your department. Go for it. Any training you hear, ask people in other trusts, what trainings do they do? Even if sometimes your trust may not, your department's practice development person may not know some of these courses. So let them know, they said there is this course they used to do for people in, maybe let's say you work in frailty ward. Now they say there's courses they do for people in this frailty ward if you want to advance in geriatrics, and is sponsored by the trust. They say they don't know. Find out from people outside the trust in different trusts. Get to know what it is. Inform your management. Before you know, they may sponsor you, they may not sponsor you. If they don't sponsor you, if it is £600, £1,000, and you want to sponsor yourself. Use your personal time and do the training, or tell them that you need a study day every week. They can give you the study day, whether it is paid or unpaid. Use those days to be doing your assignments and doing your reading and all that. And then that way, when the opportunity comes, you are prepared. That is the important thing. But if you are not prepared, when the opportunity comes, you are not prepared, you will not get it. What else? Then in your word, if you want to really advance in your word, be open to learning, be open, put yourself forward. If for here, I realize that people, even if they give the patient water, they'll come and say, he was very thirsty and I gave him water. They not ask you, not be what you're supposed to do before. It is what you're supposed to do. But you see that people blow their trumpet here. So blow your trumpet when you walk. Let them know that you're putting your best foot forward. Oh, I just checked the drawer cupboard and I realized that half of the paracetamols have expired and I had to just discard them. Let them know that you are seeing, you are active, you are proactive. Just be putting yourself, support. If you see a student coming in, support them, meet your matron. Oh, do you mind if I support these students today? Let me show them how the world is and let them work with me. Support students. They will know that, okay, you've learned, you've grown into it from your skill to supporting new staff or students. So you now start having that managerial or coordinators skill. You're not able to coordinate someone, teach someone, and all that. So you have to be prepared. But most of all, if you are not ready mentally for any improvement, do not go. You have to be prepared. I think one of the things that helped me in my own is that at the point I told myself, no, I need to learn the job, I need to learn the skill, I need to learn the unit I'm working in. Then after a while, I said, okay, I need to support my unit, I need to do this training. I did some safety courses in the trust. I did some fire emergency warding training. I did some other trainings within the trust. And so even when it wasn't easy, I did professional nursing advocate. I joined the RCN, so I'll be able to support the unit, support my colleagues. So there is a lot of things that I was putting myself forward for. And if I'm off duty, I'm on annual leave and they are doing some teams meeting, I join. Even if it's 1 hour, 30 minutes, I join, and that way I'm able to practically tell my colleagues that I'm open to learning. I'm also open to support the unit. That way, when there is an opportunity or an opening, they will be able to consider you first before any external candidates. Do you get? So that's how in this place you don't really need connections or anything. You need to. It's not like our own system where after 3 years they promote you, after 3 years they promote you. No, here you need to be prepared for that position before you get the position.
Okay. So would you consider like leaving the NHS at any point in time? And if you don't mind sharing, what would the likely reason be?
I don't even know. I'm this kind of person. I know that my future is going to be okay, but I don't know what it's going to look like. I'm an Igbo man. Yes. So if they give me 20 containers now of goose, I'll just go back
You people like money anyway.
I'll just go back to Onitsha and just start coordinating boys.
Hey.
I just start in container the high street. But the thing is, I'm not really sure of what it will be like. There are some reasons why you can leave the NHS. Some people leave the NHS for family reasons. Now, if you have a family that you really need to support, you may decide to temporarily leave a job to get a closer job to family so that you'll be able to support your family. Then some reasons, if your career advancement is not progressing as you want in a trust where you find yourself, you may decide to leave. Then other reasons, if the environment is becoming toxic for you, like let's say you start making so many errors that you're not supposed to make, that you usually don't make, and you're having issues with colleagues here and there. It's not because maybe it's not your personality, but you just started noticing that they don't put eye for you, don't they make mistakes where you're not supposed to make. Before you lose your pin, run. You get. So this is not about me, but I'm just saying that there are some reasons, there are a lot of reasons. If you notice that something is going to affect, like there are some people that have this instinct, they know that if they've stayed somewhere for like 3 years or 2 years or 5 years, it's time to move. Then also cost of living may affect somebody. If you're in places like I said, Oxford or London, you can decide to move to somewhere cheaper, definitely maybe not somewhere far off. And then also let's assume you get a scholarship. If I am here now and I get a scholarship to study masters and PhD in Scotland, in Wales, and it's tuition free and they're going to be paying me a particular amount every month, what do they do for a year? Do you get?
Yeah.
So it depends on what comes before you. You weigh your options and know what happens. So or maybe you see somewhere there's a very cheap house, you bought it at a very cheap rate and you're paying a very cheap amount every month. Why would you stay back in somewhere you still be paying high rent. You can decide to move down to that side, get a different job, and then what if the job may not be close to an NHS, so you may decide to go to care homes or other nursing services. So, but I always tell people, nursing is not really just about clinicals. We have different types of nurses. We have nurses, sport nurses, who take care of people who are or in the field, or football or sports activities. We have flight nurses who take care of emergencies, flights, and all the transport patients. We have cruise ship travel nurses. So we have lecturers as well. So if I get a teaching job, which I like teaching, of course, if I get a teaching job and it's going to pay me more, and I'm, instead of doing bank here and there, and I just do my normal 5 days work a week, I can decide to take it. So there are different reasons why people may leave where they work. But for me, as I am now, I don't see any reason why I'll leave my current workplace. But let's see. I'm open to improving where I work.
Oh man. Okay. Last and not the least, any regrets? Regrets. I feel like regrets is a strong word, but then any regrets so far? Like you moving on here from
to the UK. I don't think so. When I came here and I started seeing people that are living 90 years, 100 years. So I felt, okay, I will have hope. So even if I've used part of my years inhaling soot and black soot and all those things, I'll have hope. So I don't think there is any regrets. But the only thing is, fine, you miss your family, you miss bole, you miss, fish, those roasted, Port Harcourt fish and all those things. Yeah, that's the regret. If I can have way of, having these things coming every day, I don't mind. But there is no regrets. This is a decision you really have to take as a person. I wouldn't use a Bible analogy, but then you see, when Abraham left home, he didn't regret. He just had to leave and and start building his own life. So that's how it is. He didn't leave because of marriage. He didn't leave, but he left. I would say Abraham left because of the career advancement. Abraham left because God told him there's a job for you in another country. So he doesn't know the country. The same way most people are coming. Yeah, they don't know UK, but they left, So that's just the thing. You have to leave. But then you have to find a way to balance communicating with people at home, communicating. So there's really no regret because it's an international practice, standard practices. And then the benefits are quite numerous. Like, the conductor they cost you and say, who change. Driver, when you want cross road, there's how to cross road. Driver know they tell you what car they cost you, say, nah, you won't die for my hand. So there are a lot of things that, why would you be regretting? If I thought you have to, the only thing I regret is the monthly rent they are paying here. Like, I'm not used to it. I'm not used to doing things, but I'm used to doing things once and for all. So if there is a way they can just say, okay, we'll change it to annual rent where you pay like 5K a year and you just leave it, begin to live your life for 1 year, it will make more sense. You don't have to be removing bills every month.
Every month, so, yeah, I know, right?
But I wouldn't say that is the regret. That is their system. It has worked for them. It's working for them. Just the way they pay hourly in Nigeria, and monthly salary they pay you. So it's just how it is. There's no regrets. Like those things that people will say, matron punish you because they will use night duty to punish you. Yeah, if you punish me with night duty, now me go end past you.
So
yeah. For the night. So the system is quite different. So it's just, there's really no regret, but just understand the system and flow into the system. So
yeah. Okay, I think we've come to the end of this chat. Thank you so much for your time. Do you have anything else you'd like to add before we end?
The only thing I have to say is that people should stream my music. My music is everywhere. It's on YouTube. It's on
I'll leave the link in the description box, guys. Go check.
Please leave the link. Anyway, there's really nothing much to say. First, I want to thank you for considering me for this. I'm not really a YouTube person. I think this is the first YouTube, interview I'm having. with a YouTuber, with a nurse. So I'm not really much of a YouTube person, but I like your approach. I like your personality. So why not? If not, and I like what you're doing for giving that information and also assisting people wherever you can. So, which is very good quality for people who go for you to go far in life. Really, you need to be able to go far a little. Tell people this is where I've gone. Go a step further. Tell people this is the step I've taken. So that is how you really go. So I think it's an amazing thing you're doing. So kudos to you. Thank you for having me. Yeah, I'm humbled. I appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you watched up to this point, make sure you subscribe. Tell them to subscribe to the channel, share the video, like, and all the good stuff. All right. Thank you very much. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.